Java is a programming language and it is object oriented. So like every language, even Java has Java has tokens. Regarding this yesterday we were discussing like keywords, identifiers, operators, separators, then similarly we were constants. So these can be keywords. With the help of that you can be writing the Java programs. So you can write with the help of those keywords Java programs. Okay, it can be any program, it can be any language, they follow same kind of thing. So every programming language has set of tokens. With the help of that you we write the code. Okay, so here Java, using Java we develop say standalone applications. They can be running in the local computer. We develop Windows applications. So in that case you have GUI, or we can develop command line applications. From command prompt we can invoke them. Similarly we develop web applications, websites we can make with that, web services we develop based on the SOA. And then again in this it may be SOAP services or RESTful services, we can develop them. We can develop message beans. Okay, so that's EJB, we can be developing in that. Like this we can develop virtually any kind of application. Even mobile applications also we develop, but for that you need to have the appropriate libraries. So when you have those libraries we can do. So for that we use three editions as I told just now, J2SE, J2EE and one more is J2ME. So with the help of these we develop the applications, and apart from that Java has many APIs. Later on the capability of Java was enhanced by these APIs. So we have so many APIs. With the help of that virtually you can develop any kind of application. So that is the beauty of Java language. See, in Java we write code in classes. Class can be called as a module here. We write a module using class concept. So a class contains data associated to it and methods which can be working on the data. So class is something like this. So using classes you can be creating objects. Class is nothing but formal declaration of the object is called as class. A formal declaration of the object is called as class, whereas object is nothing but instantiation of the class. For example, I say MS student. So MS student can be a class here. MS student is going to be a class here. So this can't be an object. This is going to be mere class only. So how the class is going to be defined here depends on certain things like name, then followed by program name. We put it as program name. Then similarly it is going to be contact number. Okay, so date of birth, such things you have within the within the student. So you can give a state for the student with the help of the name, with the help of program name, with the help of contact number, with the help of DOB. Okay, similarly you may have joining date, then similarly it can be joining date like this you are going to have here. So these are going to be giving a state for the student. Okay, so this is going to be giving a state for the given student. But on this data you can perform various operations. Sometimes you need to retrieve name. So in such cases you may write a method like get name. With the help of that you can be retrieving it. So similarly you may write get program name. With the help of that you can be getting program name. Sometimes we require contact number. So to retrieve that you may use get contact number. So like that you can have various methods. Those methods they can work on the given data. So like this normally we create a class. Class contains inside this the state of the object. Other thing is what the operations you can perform on the given data. So class is nothing but data plus operations. So in general we can say class meaning is here what? Class is going to be like this I define it. It's going to be data then plus operations. So these operations can be working on the data. So it is internal to this particular class. So data we define inside the class, and whatever operations you can perform we are going to define them within the class itself. So these operations I write here. So these operations they are going to be working on the given data. So who can manipulate data? These operations they can be manipulating. So outside methods they cannot work on this data. because data is going to be internal to the class. Only data is visible to these operations, but if you take any other class, that class's operations cannot actually access this data. So this is the protection we have in the object-oriented concept. So data is belonging to here to this particular class, and it has certain operations. Those operations, they can be manipulating the data. So we tie together data as well as operations. So this concept is called as here encapsulation. We call this as encapsulation. So encapsulation meaning is what? Putting data and operations together. So data is not exposed to end user at all. So straight away you can't, it's not exposed. With the help of operations, you can get the data. So with the help of valid operations, you can be getting data. I was giving you an example yesterday related to TV. Okay, in the case of TV, how you can increase volume? You cannot open TV box and internally you cannot do anything with fingers. So for that, either you must use a volume control or you have to use some knob on the front panel. With the help of that, you need to manage volume. Internally, how it is, you don't know. But by using external means only, you should be handling the TV. So if you are allowed to open the TV from back sides, if you try to manipulate, you may damage the TV. Correct? So in the same way, as far as classes are concerned, as far as objects are concerned, straight away you can't access the internal data. So with the help of the certain methods, you can perform various operations. So class is nothing but data plus operations. And here you are going to declare formally. These you are going to declare. Something like, for example, you have a data type called int. Int meaning is what? It is going to be representing an integer type of data. It's not any object there. It's not any variable. Only a specification. So int is nothing but a specification. What it says, using this, you can declare a variable. It is going to be integer variable. So when you declare integer variable, you can hold only some range of numbers. Some range of numbers you can hold it in this. So there can be some range. So the range of numbers only you can be declaring. And what are the operations you can perform on that? It's going to say us. You can perform addition, you can perform subtraction, multiplication, division. Similarly, you can find remainder. Then one more thing is what? You can convert into string. So like that, certain operations only you can perform with the help of the given numbers there. So that is going to be here class, I can say. Integer is nothing but it's a class here. So class contains data as well as methods. So when you declare a variable like this int a equal to 100, what is happening in this? It has a value 100. So now what you can do? You can be adding this a with something else. So in such cases, what is happening? It is retrieving data 100, then adding with something else. So like this, you can perform the operations on the given data. Okay. Similarly, you want to convert it to string. So in such cases, what you write? A.toString. With the help of that, it can be converted to string. So in the same way, you have class. In the class, you have data, internal data, then operations. Together, it is going to be called as a class, or we can say it as a type. So in the OOPS, we do this. When you write like this, it's called as here encapsulation. This we can call as actually encapsulation. This is the word we use with the, implementation. But same thing, whenever you design, so when you put on the paper, at that time, it's called as abstraction. So abstraction meaning is what here? Whatever details are needed for the end user, that is exposed. And whatever unnecessary things are there, it's not going to be exposed. Just like a TV. So in the case of the TV, end user, what the end user requires, how to operate TV, they have to know how to increase volume, how to decrease volume, how to change channel, or how to turn it off, or how to turn it on. That much only end user bothered in that. So that much only should be exposed to end user. Unnecessary details inside that. What is LOT? So high tension transformer, how to see how to manage it, all they are not required for end user. Therefore, it's not exposed to the end user. So in the same way, we need to do with the object oriented programming. So whatever features end user requires, that you need to expose, rest you have to totally hide. Thus that you can achieve with the help of the object oriented programming, particularly with the help of the classes. So we develop object oriented programming with the help of the Java. Now, and one more thing here, Java has two types of data. One is here value type. The other one is going to be reference type. So one is value type, other one is reference type. So value types, they get saved in the stack area. Reference types, they get saved in the heap area. So as far as value types are concerned, they go into stack area and these they go into heap area. Okay, so heap area is basically meant for dynamically created objects. Okay, JVM can access the heap area, but they can't access actually stack area. Okay, JVM cannot access the value types, that means they cannot access the say stack area, but they can access actually heap area. So into heap area they can go, they can clear, but as far as the value types are concerned, JVM cannot access that. These are part of stack and these are part of actually heap. So reference types, they are going to be in the heap area. Okay, so basically it's value type and reference type as far as where the data is getting saved. But further, the types of data is going to be here, and reference type is also called as object type. It's also called as object type. And here other one is going to be primitives. Okay, one is primitives, then other one is here classes, or we say reference types, or they are going to be reference types. Okay, primitives, or one more thing is here user defined scalar. User defined scalar, and the other one is going to be classes or reference types. You can divide into three different types. Primitives are going to be, one is what? Numbers. In this you have the absolute numbers and other one is approximate numbers. This is jumping always. So absolute numbers and it is here approximate numbers. As far as numbers are concerned, it can be absolute and it can be approximate. Okay, so in the case of absolute, byte, then short integer, integer, long integer. As far as approximate is concerned, float and double, they are going to be approximate. Then you have here char type of data. So one more is here, we have one other thing is Boolean. So this is basically the primitives, they are predefined. And further if you want to define your own type of data, value type, so that scalar type, that you can do with the help of the enum. So using enum, you can develop your own type also. That is going to be scalar type. Here numbers are scalar, character is scalar, even Boolean is also going to be scalar type of data. So it's not aggregate data, it's going to be here, it's going to be scalar type of data. So it is going to be having only one value. Okay, and apart from this, you have in the Java aggregate types also. So aggregate types are going to be arrays. Arrays and classes, these two are going to be here aggregate types. As we know, array is going to be here collection of similar data. Array is nothing but collection of similar data. Once you allocate size for array, neither you can increase nor you can decrease its size. That's basically array. Okay, classes are what exactly? Abstract data types in which you have data as well as methods which can be working on the data. So like that you can have classes. So these two are here aggregate. And apart from this, we have here certain predefined classes like string, then you have string builder, one more is going to be string buffer. These are the types of data to handle string we have inside the Java library. So arrays are, these are nothing but here reference types, and these are going to create objects when you declare array variable. Classes, you can define your own classes, otherwise you can use existing classes like string or string builder or string buffer. So string is actually sequence of characters. It is sequence of Unicode characters. A string is what? Immutable. That means once you create a string object, it becomes here, it's going to become a read only. You cannot modify once you create a string. But whereas the contents of string builder or string buffer, you can modify. So these are mutable. So string is not mutable, string builder, string buffer are mutable objects. So these are going to be here aggregate types, okay, arrays, classes, then similarly these are going to be aggregate types, and these are here reference types. These are not scalar, these are not value type, these are going to be here reference types. They come under reference types, whereas numbers, character Boolean, they are going to be here primitives as well as scalars. It is nothing but scalar type of data, whereas arrays, classes are aggregate data, and these are here reference types. So in Java, these types we have primitive types. We have a char, it's for characters. Similarly, we have byte, which is meant for 1 byte of data. Then we have short integer, it's for 2 bytes. You have int, which is 4 bytes, and long is going to be here 4 bytes, so 8 bytes. Okay, byte is just 1 byte, short is going to be 2 bytes, int is 4 bytes, long is here 8 bytes. Apart from this, you have float. One float is 1, other one is double here. So float is going to be single precision, double is going to be double precision. So for holding single precision, fractional data, we can use float type of data. If you want to go with the double precision data, at that time you can use double type of data. With the help of that, you can hold the numbers which have precision up to 15 digits after the decimal point in the case of double. So in the case of float, you can have up to 7 digits precision after the decimal point. So like this, you have the primitive types of data. One other one is here Boolean. So using Boolean, you can have true or false values. Either true value or false value you can have with the help of the Boolean type of data. Okay, now apart from this, see, these are the primitive types which are already defined for us. Apart from this, if you want to develop your own types, if you want to develop your own type, you can do that with the help of the enum. When you have number of constants, of those number of constants, if you have to represent only one, declare an enum. So with enum you can manage. It's something like this. I put here enum, then followed by, I put like here weekday. I can write it as weekday. Internally now I can define this way. So first is what here? Sunday. I can write like this. Sunday. Then this is here Monday. I put like this. So and so on like this. You can be doing like this. It can have here up to 7. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Very first element is going to be 0. Subsequent ones are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here you are defining a weekday. It's going to be your own type of data. So using this weekday, you can create your own variable. Okay, so like this, you can have enum. This is going to become again a scalar type of data, and that too a value type. It's not reference type here. It is going to be value type. You can define your own type of data. Okay, apart from this, you can have arrays. Arrays, as I told you, aggregate homogeneous data. So for example, you have some 1,000 students in a class or in a school. Suppose you have to manage the 1,000 students information. So in such cases, you cannot declare 1,000 variables in a program. So that's highly prone to error. Instead of that, you can just declare one array in which you can have 1,000 names. So first of all, you declare an array. So with the students as size as 1,000, then in each and every row concerned data you can enter. So that way managing lot of data can become easy with the arrays. When you have lot of data, for each and every data piece, if you cannot declare variable, in such cases you can use arrays. With the help of that, you can manage a collection. So using the array variable name, then followed by index, you can be accessing individual records from the given array. So like that you can use arrays. Similarly, classes. String is what? This is a predefined object. It's a predefined class. Using that you can create a string object. Similarly, we have a string builder as well as string buffer. String builder is also type of string, but content of the string builder you can modify. Similarly, with the string buffer also you can do it. But see, string builder is not actually thread safe, whereas string buffer is going to be thread safe. This is the difference between the string builder and string buffer. String builder is not going to be thread safe. That means more than one thread cannot modify that, whereas string buffer can be modifying it. So like this, you have thread safety among the string builder between string builder and string buffer. So string is what? Read only. String builder is actually modifiable one. It is called as mutable object. String buffer is also going to be mutable object. So here they can contain sequence of characters. They can contain sequence of characters with the string, string builder, string buffer. But once you create string, you cannot modify that. So these are basically the data types we have in the Java language. And apart from data types, we have certain operators. We have in Java operators. So every language supports operators, and operators are going to be either binary or unary. Okay, so binary, unary operators you have. That means every operator need not be need not have the unary feature. So every operator, need not be unary, but most of the operators they support actually the two operands. It's called as binary operator. Like for example, you take plus. In the case of plus, you can write 10 plus 2. So 10 plus 2, here plus is the operation or operator it is requiring here two operands. 10 is one operand, 2 is another operand. Similarly, sometimes you write minus 10. So here you have only one operand, it's nothing but 10. The operator is what here? Minus. So like this, it's negating it. So this way, you can have operators. And we have, first thing is arithmetic operators. We have here arithmetic operators. These are going to be plus, then similarly you have here minus, then multiplication, and other one is going to be division. One more thing is remainder. So these operations you can perform on the numbers. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, then division, and one more is here remainder you can find. But here you need to be careful regarding one thing. Suppose I have like this, int a equal to, I have 10, then similarly int b equal to say 3 I have. When I try to print here a by b, what result I can expect here? Suresh, what result I can expect in this? Suppose you have a by b. So this is going to give what result for me here?
It will give the quotient of 10 by 3.
Yes, no, result can be, what result it can be? Quotient of a by b, 10 by 3, what result we expect from that?
It's a double.
See, you should get normally like 3.33, like this you expect. Okay,
Yeah.
but in reality, it's not that. So it's not going to be that. It gives you here just 3.0. So it's going to give you only 3, I can say. It can give 3 or 3.0, but it can't give you simply 3.333 like that. What is the reason why it does not give? The reason is here a is integer, b is also integer. When both the operands are integers, result is going to be integer.
Okay.
So this is the rule they follow. But if any operand is having, if any of the operands is a floating point number, in such cases you can get the result as floating point number. Okay, so like this, it's going to be working. This point we need to remember. So what is happening here? If both the operands are integers, result is going to be always integer. But if any of the operands is floating point or double, the result can be floating point or it can be double. So this is a very simple point, but normally programmers they forget this point and they struggle with this result sometimes.
Okay.
Now here other operators are going to be relational operators. Greater than, less than, other thing is greater than or equal to, and similarly it is less than or equal to. So these form actually relationship between the two sides of the equation. Mostly in equations we use it. In equations we are going to relate left side term with the right side term. If left side term is greater than right side term, in that case it returns true value, otherwise returns false value in the case of greater than. So in the case of less than also same thing happens. It's going to be comparing both sides. Okay, so whenever they are meeting condition, as per condition, they can return a true value or they can return a false value. Apart from that, we have here double equal symbol. It's meant for equality operator. So it's called an equality operator. Both right side and left side, they are same or not, you can find out with the help of the equality operator. Similarly, we have here inequality. When left side, right side, they are not same, you can try with this. This is called as here inequality. And when another operator is going to be equal, this is for assignment. When you want to assign a value, you need to use the equal. But in most of the languages, they don't have actually something like double equal. They don't use double equal, just they use equal only for testing and even for assigning. So that feature is called as overloading in such cases. It is called as actually overloading. So same equal symbol we are going to be using for testing the condition, whether A equal to B or not. At the same time, sometimes you may be assigning a value A equal to B. So therefore, it is overloaded in such languages. But in Java, these two are going to be different. Equal is for assignment. Double equal symbol is meant for actually comparing the value with the left and right. So in between left and right, when you write whether left equal to right or not, you try to find out. Okay, one more point here. I just try to here ask you.
Yeah.
Here see, I have int A. I declare something like this. Now A equal to, I can put some 100. Okay, if I put like this 100 equal to A, mathematically it's correct. Correct?
Yeah.
So, but why
Okay.
in computers it's incorrect? When I write like this, A equal to
Because we are
100.
declaring only A in the integer.
Yes, both are integers only here. This is also integer. 100 is also nothing but integer here. Int A I have written, A equal to 100 I am writing. Instead of that, if I write 100 equal to A, why it is wrong? Why it gives error?
Because you are actually assigning the value of 100 to A.
Yes. I'm doing on the top. No, I'm just saying the mathematics. In the mathematics, how we do, in the same way I'm trying to do it. A equal to 100 I'm assigning here. If I write 100 equal to A, why it is wrong? In the mathematics, you can write A equal to B or B equal to A. Both are same, correct?
Yeah.
So here also I want to do A equal to 100 if I write, nothing wrong. But when you write 100 equal to A, it is wrong here. Reason is, when you take L value is going to be giving you always address.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
this is going to be the value, it's giving you the value inside the, what value it is, it's going to say. So since you cannot refer 100 here, the memory you can't refer straight away. Since you are referring here 100, it is giving it as error. You can't simply say 100, it can't go to 100 location. So therefore, when you put like this, it's wrong. But writing like this is correct. In the left
Okay.
side, whatever you have, it's always address, and this is going to be always value. Even if you write
Okay.
like this, suppose you write here A and B. Okay, here it can be A and B. B equal to, you put here some 200. Okay, now suppose you write here A equal to 100 I assigned there. Next I write A equal to B. So for A it is taking address, for B it is taking value.
Okay.
So A, now here in the left side, whatever you have, its address is taken there. Whereas in the case of B, what is happening here? It's going to be taking the value in the B. Both are referring some location. A is referring location, B is also referring location. But here in
Okay.
this expression, A's address is taken and B's value is taken. So like this, they are going to be working.
Sorry?
So like this, these are going to be working, and L value and R value, we say them. So left side is called as L value, right side is R value. So here A is going to be the address and B is going to be value. Like that it takes here.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
So these
So
are
the
the,
value of 200 will be assigned to A.
yes.
Okay.
So now here, these are arithmetic operators, sorry, relational operators. Then you have logical operators. Logical AND you have here, then similarly logical OR operator we have, then
Yeah.
similarly logical NOT operator. So these three operators we use very much. Let me show you some table for this. It is called as truth table. Probably you studied this in some academics. Okay,
Yeah.
so here I have actually some A. Okay, then followed by here B. Then I put here A followed by and B. Then similarly here I write A or B, or I can use this way. So A or B I can put. Then similarly last one is going to be not A. Like this I try to make some truth table. Now A is
Okay.
what exactly? A is true. Okay, but lot of space. Fine, give space, with that it's going to be fine. Now see, A is true. After that I go with the B. B is also here true. Let us put this as true here.
Okay.
So when you come to this is going to be true only here. But when
Yeah.
you come to this here, now in such cases it's going to be again true only here.
True.
When you come to this is okay. I did something wrong in this. So this is going to be here false. You are just going to negate the value of A, not this is. So when A is true, this is going to be false here. Now next thing here, this is going to be false, and here it is true. When you go with the A and B, it is false, but when you come to A or B, it's going to be true here, and here it's going to be true. Like this you can form the truth table. In the case of this now, it is true here, then this is here false. Okay, here A and B is also going to be false, then this is here true, followed by here this is going to be false. Like this you have here. When all are false, what happens? See in that. Here A is false, B is also false, A and B it becomes false, A or B is also going to be becoming here false only. But here what happens? It becomes true. So this is nothing but truth table. Okay, so here using here logical and logical or, what you can do exactly? You can combine the expressions. A is a logical expression, B is another logical expression. With the help of that, you can create a new logical expression, or we can say it Boolean expression. So if A is returning true, B is returning true, newly formed expression with A and B, it's going to be true. And here also it's going to be true with A or B. Similarly, if A is false, B is true, A and B is going to be true, false. Reason, all the inputs for the AND operation must be true, then only it gives you true value. If any one of them is false, you get actually a false value. It is something like multiplication with 0. Any number you take, when you multiply with 0, so always what happens? It's going to be 0 only. Suppose you have two operands. So one is A, other one is B. If you take A equal to 1, B equal to 1, result is going to be 1. But either A is 0 or B is 0 or both are 0, result is going to be 0. Like that you can take. So that you can compare with the multiplication. In the case of OR, what happens? It is going to be here addition, we say. So it's going to be addition, binary addition. A plus A you get actually 1 plus 1 you get 1 0. So you can think it as 1. Okay. Similarly, 1 plus 0 is going to be what? 1, or 0 plus 1 equal to 1, that is. 1. When you have zeros, it's going to be 0. Like that you can compare the OR operation with the addition. So it's going to be addition, whereas this not symbol is going to be negating. Here if it is true, it is false here. When it is false here, it's going to be true. So like this is going to be working for us. So these are logical operators. With the help of this logical AND, logical OR, logical NOT, you can form actually compound expressions. They can be compound Boolean expressions. Together they can be returning a true value, or they can be returning a false value. So sometimes what happens, you may use grouping symbols like this. Sometimes you may use the grouping symbols like this. For example, I want to take like this, 10 plus 2, then multiplied with 3. Okay. Now my expectation is what here? It should be 36. But what I get here, I am going to get only 16 in this. I am expecting it to be 36. 10 plus 2 multiplied with 3 I am saying here. But what result I am getting here? It's not going to be say 36. Instead I get this as 16 here. I am going to get 16 because here the precedence is high for the multiplication when compared with the addition. So first it performs multiplication, then after that it comes with the addition. So 2 multiplied with 3 is now 6. 10 plus 6 is going to be 16. But now suppose you want to perform the required operation, use the brackets or parentheses. So with that what happens? It's going to be adding 2 with 10, you get 12. 12 when you multiply with 3, you get 36. So like this, it's going to be working. So these are called as here grouping symbols. Even sometimes what happens in typecasting, sometimes you use, sometimes what happens, you can be using these along with the methods. When you want to pass arguments, you can be using these brackets. So with the help of that, you can be passing arguments. So in all the cases, it's basically meant for grouping. So for grouping things, we can use these parentheses. Similarly,
Okay.
whenever you want to make any compound statement, you can use these curly braces. When you want to write any code blocks, you can use these curly braces. For example, take class. Class is nothing but code block. After class name, you use curly braces. Similarly, you write a method. So after writing method name, use curly braces. Within that, you are going to be writing. So to make code blocks, we use actually curly braces. Similarly, we have here a comma operator. We use comma operator. Then similarly, we use sometimes dot operator, semicolon operator. We are going to use all these. Whenever we need, we can use all these. Comma to separate arguments we use. Dot operator to reference a method from a given object we use dot operator. Semicolon we are going to be using whenever you want to end a statement. In a program, when you want to end a statement, you can use semicolon. So like this, we can actually use different operators. So these can be called as separators also. So with the help of separators, we can separate them. So total tokens are going to be for us, one is keywords, other one is identifiers, operators, separators, then you have constants. So with that only we are going to write our program. Okay, so these are basically the types of data types, and other thing is here you have the arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, and these are some special operators. And apart from that, we have one more type of operator called as bitwise. They can be working on the bits. So on the bits they are going to be working. For example, take here int a equal to I take 96 and b equal to I want to take it as some 64. Now when I try to perform here some operation like a and b, it is called as bitwise AND operation. Now I am going to get the result as here 64 only. I can get only 64. When I perform here a and b, it is going to perform bitwise operation. If I go with the a or b, it's called as bitwise OR operation. Now here I get this as 96. Similarly, here I can use a exclusive b, exclusive OR operation I try to do here. This time I get a result as 32. So like this they are going to be giving you. At the bit level they are going to be working. Now suppose a equal to 96 you have. So when a is 96, what happens? See there. So when a is 96 here, with this here we take the value of a is going to be how much? Here when you convert into binary format, it's going to be say 64 plus 92. In the 128 position you have 0, in the 64th position 1, in 32th position 1, followed by here you have zeros. So this is exactly what it is going to be here 96. In the decimal number system, in the binary number system, from rightmost when we see units, then 2s, then 4, then 8, then 16, 32 and 64. 32 plus 64, how much it is? 96 we get. We are going to get 96. Now similarly, you take here the value of b. When you take the value of b, it's going to be in the 128 position 0, in the 64th position 1, then in the rest of the positions it is going to be 0. So whenever you try to perform bitwise AND operation, you are going to compare the bits at the positions. Here you see in the units position both the places 0. Therefore, the result is also going to be having a 0 in that. So it's going to be like this. Okay. You have a 0 in that. Similarly, in the second position also 0 and 0, it's going to be 0. So when it comes to third, it's again on the top 0, in the bottom also 0, therefore it's 0. So when it comes to fourth here, units 2s 4 8, in the 8th position in both the places 0. So in the 8th position in both the places 0, therefore it's going to be 0. Now similarly, if you go to the 16th position, this is units 2s 4 8, in the 16th position in both the places again this is 0, therefore here also this will be 0. After that we come to say this is units 2s 4 8 16 32. We come into 32 position. In the 32 position on the top you have 1, in the bottom it's 0. So 1 multiplied with 0 is going to be 0, therefore we have here 0. But when it comes to 64th position, on the top 1, in the bottom also 1, 1 and 1 is going to be 1 here. Like this we take. Then we go to 128 position. In the 128 position, both the places 0. Therefore, it's going to be 0. So this is giving us therefore 64. Because it's 0, 2 0, 4 0, 8 0. This is going to be total 0. Then 16 0, 32 0. So we have 0 only. 64 multiplied with 1 is going to be 64. You get 64 like this. Similarly, when you work with the ARB, now let us look at the ARB. So in the case of ARB, what happens? It's going to be here either in the first either in the first number in the given bit position it should be 1, or in the second position. So here in both the places it's 0 again. Therefore 0 it is. Similarly, we try with this now. Again that is going to be 0. So here with the fourth position it's going to be 0. Then we go with the 8th position, in both the places 0 that is. Okay. In the 16th position also in both the places it's 0. When it comes to 32 position, on the top you have 1, but in the bottom 0 that is. Either in the first bit or in the second bit it should be 1. So therefore it is taking 1 here. Similarly, here what is happening? In the 64th position, both the places 1. 1 and 1 is going to be here 1 only, because this add operation we do. And when it comes to 64th 128 position, in both the places 0. So therefore what result we get here? 96 we get. Because in the units nothing, in the 2's nothing, in the 4's nothing, in the 8 also nothing, in 64 is nothing. 32 into 1 is 32, plus 64 into 1 64. So 64 plus 32 is nothing but here 96. Like this you get in the case of A or B operation. A bitwise B here, it's giving you 96. Now let us try with the exclusive OR operator. In the exclusive OR operator, what should happen here is either in the first number in the given bit position it should be 1, or in the second number in the given bit position it should be 1. But in both the places it can't be 1. In both the places if it is 1, it's going to take only 0. So with this now what we get, see, 0 and 0 is going to be 0 here. Similarly, that is in the units place. In the 2's place also 0. In the 4's place also it is 0. Okay, in the 8's place also it's going to be 0 for us. Then in the 16th position also it is 0. Then in the 32th position, what is happening? On the top one you have units 2's, 4, 8, 16. So in the 32 position, on the top you have 1, in the bottom it's 0. So this is what exactly exclusive OR. Therefore 1 and 0 is going to be 1 here. Then after that we go into 64 position. So here in both the places you have 1, 1 and 1 is going to be 0. That means either in the first number in the 64 position it should be 1, or in the second number. When in both the places it's 1, therefore it's going to be 0 here. Similarly, in the 128 position 0, this is giving us here 32, because units 2's, 4, 8, 16, 32, 32 multiplied with 1 is going to be 32. So like this it is working. So this is what exactly exclusive bitwise operation. Okay, so these are going to be few operators we use. And apart from that, we have an operator called as question mark operator. We use it. This is called as here conditional operator, and we call it as a ternary operator. This requires here 3 arguments. It is something like this. For example, you have here A and B. A is how much? 96. B is 64. I can write an expression like this. A greater than B, then it can return here a value. So this is going to be true, or it can be false here. So like this, I can have this one here. So A greater than B, this can be returning a true value, or it can be returning here false value, depending on the values you have in the A and B. When I say A greater than B, question mark, what it is returning here? True value and false value. So now in this example, A is 96, B is 64, therefore you get true value here. Okay, suppose it is reverse, we write A less than B. So in such case, we get here a false value, because it is not less. A is 64, B is 32, this condition is not getting satisfied, therefore it goes to false. Like this, this is called as a conditional operator or ternary operator. This also we use very much. Okay, so it is whenever you want to assign a value out of the condition, you can use it. It is not a substitute for the if condition, but for simple, if kind of situations, in such cases you can use it. So whenever you want to return, depending on this expression value, either true value or false value, when you want to return, you can use it. This is called as a conditional operator. Okay, now let us try to write some small Java program. So let me go into Eclipse here. I launch Eclipse. Now I would like to create here a new workspace. Try to type here a new workspace name. So with your name itself I am trying to create here. So Suresh. So with this I am trying to make it. A new workspace is getting created.
Okay.
So when you launch Eclipse, you get this kind of thing. You can dismiss this window. You can dismiss this window. So once we dismiss this window, it shows us this kind of user interface. This is the interface we get with the Eclipse. Now I want to go with some Java project. Therefore, I click on the file here, then say new. It is going to be simple Java project I would like to make. I want to make actually a simple Java project. I click on the project here. This is going to be a Java project. Click on the next. I should give a name here. I am going to give some name here. The name is first Java application. I am going to write this as first Java application. It's going to be using here default location. The workspace folder is what exactly? Suresh is a workspace folder. So in that workspace itself, it's creating. The application is getting created in the workspace folder itself. Then I am using here Java SE 1.8. This is the execution environment I am going to use. Further, it is saying create separate folders for sources and class files. Source is going to be your Java code, whatever you write. So don't mix your source code with the binary output. So the output you can put in the bin folder. It creates actually another folder called as bin folder. In the bin folder, it is going to be getting saved. Now click on here, next. Then after that, you can finish it. Okay. Now this is here a Java application environment. Now I have to create some class in this. If you look at this, it has here JRE system library. It's available here like this. A system library has been added here. You have predefined libraries, they are getting automatically added. The next thing is we have here, so source folder, in this you should write the code. Go with the new here, say new class. I am going to write now the class name as my first app. My first app, this should contain a main method. In the case of Windows and console applications, you should have a main method because main method is the starting point of application. So through the main method, all other classes you can use and you can create objects. So this is the entry point. Main method is a special method which is nothing but a static method. Using main method, you launch your application. So I am going to use here the main method in this class. And one speciality is, in whatever class you write main method, with that class name only the file must be saved. Okay, in whatever class you write main method, with that class name only you need to save the file. Okay, and in that file again, you should have only one public class. So the public class is going to be your class name in which you have the main method. Okay, in the case of Java, if you are creating classes, so in a particular physical file, you are trying to create more than one class. You cannot have more than one public class in that. So with whatever class name you are saving file, So that should be public class, rest must be private classes. So like that there are certain constraints. That means it does not mean that you can't have more than one public class in a package. You can have, but whenever you say physically, in one file there should be only one public class, and with the public class name itself you need to save the file. So this is the rule we need to follow in the case of Java development. This is a little bit restrictive for us, but this helps us in organizing our code in a better way. Okay, so it's going to help us in organizing our code in a better way. When you follow certain restrictions, ultimately the pain is going to be less for us. It is somewhat disciplined approach. So Java people, they are trying to force, they are forcing us to follow that particular way of doing things. So in the long run, they can benefit us. See, initially when you develop, you may feel it as a restriction, but definitely it benefits you a lot. Many restrictions in our life, they benefit us. So without restrictions, we become wayward. Same thing happens in the case of coding also. If there are no restrictions, your code may go wayward. In order to prevent such things, they are making such restrictions here. So in one class, you can have, in one physical file, you can have only one public class. But you can have more than one class. They can be private or they can be having default scope. But you can have only one public class in the given file. Now here, let me finish it. So what is happening now? It has created for us this kind of thing. So here it is nothing but IDE. With the help of IDE, it has generated for us, it has generated some skeleton with a given class name. Class name is my first app. Here you have static void main string adds, and these are called as here command line arguments. We can call them as actually command line arguments. So from command prompt, you can invoke these. Now let me show you this application for copying the contents of one file into another file. For that purpose, I want to use it. Okay, so here what I do, I just import. So existing library I would like to use. Therefore, I write here import java.io. So related to file IO, predefined libraries available that I would like to use. Predefined classes I am using here with this. So now this application I am going to invoke from command prompt. What exactly it does? It's going to be copying the contents of one file into another file. So for that purpose I am writing this. So this is going to be copying the contents of one file into another file here. So for that purpose I try to use it. Okay. So here write like this. First of all, I need to, this may throw exception. This may be throwing exception here. I put like this, throws exception. Exceptions are nothing but runtime errors. So exceptions are nothing but runtime errors. What exactly runtime errors are? For example, you are trying to divide a number with 0. It's runtime error. Similarly, you are trying to send an email without actually turning on internet. It's nothing but error. Runtime error, that is. Similarly, you are trying to print something on the paper. At that time, you haven't turned on printer. So that's nothing but again an error. You are trying to save some file on the disk. There is not enough space on the disk. It is nothing but runtime error. So when you write code at that time, it's not error, but when you execute at that time, you get error. Such things are called as exceptions. Now here, I try to copy the contents of one file into another file. I would like to do that. So therefore here, first of all, I am going to ask here, if this is args.length. Okay, args.length, if it is less than 2, I print like this, system dot, then out dot println, too many files. I say this as here, too many files. Sorry, no, too few arguments. Too few arguments you specified. Okay, else here, else followed by, again I use if condition, args dot length. If it is greater than 2, I need to print again too many arguments. So it's going to be here too many arguments. I need only 2. So if it is more than 2, it's giving this. If it is less than 2, it says too few arguments. Else we come to this part. Now here we need to manage it. Okay, we should manage here. Now first of all, create here file. File followed by object file. This equal to here new file. So new file I create. The file name is going to be here new file. Then followed by here I need to specify the file name there. It is here args of 0. This is the problem. File. This is here obj file. This equal to here new. It is file args. Why is it jumping? It is new file args of 0. Like this I write it. Okay, next thing here object file, then dot. We may have here some kind of copy command in this. Okay, so there is no provision to copy the file in this. There is no provision, probably you have rename command. So we can rename to new file. We can rename, then here I try to set it as new file name, that is going to be args1. So here instead of copying, what I do, I can convert from one file name to another file name. Then here I write system dot then out dot println system dot out dot println file has been renamed.
Okay.
So like this I am trying to rename it. I am trying to rename the file here. What it's asking here, rename to what it says. When I go with the rename to, and this is called as IntelliSense. With IntelliSense you are getting all this help. Rename to, when you take, it should be destination file. Therefore here I create one more file. File object f equal to, it is here new file followed by here args of 1. I make it like this. Another file I create here. So that file name I can give now here. It's going to be dot rename to. Then here I put this as object f. So I put this way. This should be now getting renamed. Okay. So this is the program I have written. If I run from here, definitely it says too few arguments are specified. It says, because I cannot pass any arguments from here. So for that I should go to command prompt. From there I should do it.
Okay.
Type cmd here, followed by come to D drive. Then in the D drive, just go to concerned directory there. So the directory, let us see. Directory is exactly, as we come down, it is, we can find here, the directory name is going to be, Suresh is the directory name you have here.
Okay.
Now write cd Suresh. Okay. Now in this directory, if you come here, you can see the application name. First Java application we have here. You can see here first Java application. Let us change into cd, then first Java application. I open that. We jump into the concerned folder. When we come into that folder, then here see what files you have in this. There is one bin folder, other one is src folder. In the src folder, we have the source. So go into src folder and see what files are in that. We have one file, it's called as myfirstapp.java. That file you can find in the src folder that we created. Okay, now if you come back to bin folder, just see here cd bin. So in the bin folder, what files are available? We have here myfirstapp.class file. So this is called as here bytecode file. Now we need to execute that. So for executing it, we need to go with the Java, then followed by, but see, here there should be some file that you can actually, otherwise, just a minute. I see in the D drive, are there any files which I can rename into something else? I can go to D drive. In the D drive, there should be, I have some ABC file. So I can convert ABC into some PQR. I want to convert ABC into PQR. So there is no PQR right now. Okay, so it is what exactly ABC file I want to convert.
Okay.
Now here I write Java followed by, this is first Java. Okay, this is going to be my first app, put like this, followed by D colon, then I write here slash, what is the name of the file there, abc.csv, comma separated value file. Then again I give this as D colon slash mno, then dot, this is csv. Like this I can make it. Now when you press enter key, it should copy, it should rename. So from D abc.csv to it should be mno.csv. We should have it.
Okay.
File has been renamed. It's giving message. If you go to this prompt, now you can see. You should not find any ABC, but instead we should have MNO. Now we have here MNO. If you look at the properties for this, it can show you. It's going to show you created on Saturday, June 11, 2016, but modified, access modified, modified also you should have. Today's date, it should be here, but not showing. So security, then you go with the details. It should show but not showing here. So on what date exactly that has been modified, you should get an idea on that. So through the code we modified, even though we modified through code, it should display but not displaying there. So with this code, what I have done, I have modified the, here, I modified the file name. That means abc.csv I made into mno.csv. This is called as command line argument. We call this as actually command line arguments. So using command line arguments feature, we have done it.
Okay.
Okay, Suresh. Any questions?
Yeah. Fine, sir. I'm fine. I'm good.